Okay, thank you again. First and foremost, I want to thank our Superintendent of Police, Chief Michael Harrison, for all that he has done for the New Orleans Police Department and the City of New Orleans under his leadership. Without a doubt, when Chief Harrison was selected to lead the NOPD, he hit the ground running and brought our police department to where we are now in terms of reaching very, very close as it relates to our consent decree, modernizing our police department. And I believe that it has prepared him for his next step in leadership as he will go to Baltimore Police Department with the full support of the City of New Orleans and that of the New Orleans Police Department. We know that there's been tremendous progress made, as I mentioned, by the men and women of NOPD. And make no mistake about it, I understand how consequential this decision is. Very important. And probably the most important decision that I will make as the mayor of the City of New Orleans, particularly at this time. We're in a different time in our city and on a good path and a good trajectory for doing even better as it relates to not only the City of New Orleans, but the New Orleans Police Department. It all works together. So when choosing Chief Harrison's successor, I looked inward. I have the full confidence of the New Orleans Police Department, our men and women, to not have to look far because they exist within NOPD. Through this transition, we will be as transparent as possible. We have the best and brightest within the New Orleans Police Department, as I mentioned. We have been on the front lines, of course, as this consent decree. There is and will continue to be long-standing support and a relationship between Chief Harrison and Commander Ferguson. Commander Ferguson is my choice to be the next superintendent and chief of police of the New Orleans Police Department. Commander Shaun Ferguson is a man that I met as a community leader right here in the City of New Orleans. So when we talk about neighborhood policing, I've been a part of that on the ground and with him as my commander. Moving on to be District B Councilwoman for pretty much 6 years, I had the opportunity again to not only work with the New Orleans Police Department, but work side by side with Commander Ferguson. I think I had the longest transition of any mayor, meaning mayor-elect. Was mayor-elect for over 7 months, focusing heavily on the New Orleans Police Department. Being inaugurated mayor May 7th, I made a commitment to work side by side with Chief Harrison, and we did just that. I appreciate you. I'm so proud. I really am. I did not waver in my commitment to him as our chief, and I said to him, you're the chief. No micromanagement, but working together. So I'm telling you, Commander Ferguson has the criteria that I've been looking for. I call it the 3 F's. Fair, firm, and friendly. Known and supported by our community. Over 21 years of experience. Constitutional policing practices, we would not have made the strides that we've seen with the consent decree without Commander Ferguson. Modernizing the police department, bringing it into the 21st century. Modernization is a good thing. As I mentioned earlier, just the strides that we've made with the consent decree. And with that, I do want to turn it over at this time to our next chief. Now, this will be on Friday of this week. We will have the official swearing in. So currently, Chief Harrison is still in charge as chief. But it's always good to make these decisions and be prompt about it so we can have the best transition as possible. So without further ado, I give to you the next Superintendent of Police of the New Orleans Police Department, Commander Shaun Ferguson.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you,
so
sir.
much. Good morning, all. I would be remiss to say if I did not thank God for the blessings that He has bestowed upon me. Thank you, Madam Mayor, for trusting me, for having confidence in me, and giving me this opportunity to be the next Chief of Police for the New Orleans Police Department. I do understand, know, and respect how public safety is a priority, top priority for you and your administration, as well as our department. And as such, we are looking forward to working with you, your administration, as well as the community to keep that a top priority for us all. Chief Harrison, thank you for your leadership, for your mentorship. It has been an amazing experience working with you over the years. In fact, throughout my entire career, I've worked and leaned on Chief Harrison personally and professionally. I just want to thank you. Thank you for the foundation that you've instilled within the New Orleans Police Department. It is a solid foundation in which we are willing to build upon. Thank you so much. We wish you the best in Baltimore. Thank you for your service to the city, and thank you for your service to us as New Orleans Police Department. Thank you. Thank you. Next, I would like to thank the brave men and women of the New Orleans Police Department. You are a great department. We are a great department, and we will continue to be a great department. We have come a long way. There's much work that is still needed to be done, but we have come a very long way. I will still stand strong, firm, but fair, as I have always been as a leader with you all. I will stand side by side with you all through the thick and thin. However, accountability must be maintained at every level, including at my level. Mayor Cantrell has committed to investing in the proper training and resources to move us forward so that we can provide the best services to the citizens of New Orleans. And thank you, Mayor, for your commitment.
You got it.
Next, I would like to talk to the recruit classes that are in place now, as I'm leaving or transitioning from the commander of the academy to now being the chief of police. This is a true confirmation. There's evidence. This is evidence that growth and opportunity exists within the New Orleans Police Department. And as such, I urge you, I encourage not only you, but any other individual who wants to join our team, that join our team. Keep your dreams ahead of you. Keep striving. Keep pushing, and you can make things happen. To our citizens, I have served you for 21 years, and I'm looking forward to serving you even longer. Through the mayor's commitment to you, myself, and our officers, I assure you that we will build on the positive relationships that have already been established. We will mend any relationships that may have been broken, as well as forge new relationships. I understand community engagement is a necessity. We are partners in this. The New Orleans Police Department cannot do it by themselves, and you cannot do it without us. We must do this together, and we are committed to working together. Constitutional policing practices will remain our top value as we engage and serve you as we have sworn to do. We're absolutely committed to full compliance with the consent decree. I am proud of how far our department has come again, and I'm saying that we still have some work to do. As technology improves or advances, so should our police department, and our way of policing should change and advance. I will work hard for you. I look forward to serving you as your chief of police. Last but certainly not least, to my family and friends, thank you for your constant support. Thank you for your constructive criticism. It has made me who I am, the leader in which I am today. And as a result of such, of my upbringing as a youth, as my development as a father, as well as a companion, as well as a professional in law enforcement experience. It has prepared me for this assignment. And without you, none of this would be possible. So thank you for being that backbone of me always. This is the position that I'm prepared for. When Chief Harrison was first appointed as the superintendent of the New Orleans Police Department, many do not realize this, but I was the first commander that he sent to senior executive training in Boston, Massachusetts, where I gained the knowledge and the leadership skills to not only be a leader, not a supervisor, but to be a leader. And thank you again, Superintendent, for doing that. He also encouraged me to push forward on my own, where I would seek my own training, which I did, where I may have to pay for it on myself. I may have paid for it on my own, but I've also sought free training. But I never stopped pushing under the encouragement of Superintendent Harrison. So I would like to thank you again, sir. I was trained not to settle for just being a regular supervisor, but to also be a leader. I am from the community. As a graduate of Old Perry Walker, as a graduate of Southern University of New Orleans, receiving my bachelor's as well as my master's degree. I was raised in the lower Ninth Ward, then moved to Algiers. This has cultivated me to have the respect of the city's diversities and uniqueness. I've served our city for 21 years, during which time I've served as commander of 2 districts, as well as the academy. And during my tenure at the academy, I had the pleasure of learning the internal workings of the New Orleans Police Department. I have had the unfortunate opportunity of releasing individuals who just did not meet the standards of the New Orleans Police Department. Difficult in a way, but not difficult, because there is a certain standard and professionalism in which we expect of not only our officers, but recruits and any other individual that is joining our department. Our successes, such as strong discipline, will continue to be a priority. Accountability will be a high priority for our department as well. I know what is needed to get the job done by being an officer with the boots on the ground. Our city's administration, the police department, and you, the community, we are one, working together despite differences of opinion. Through positive communication, it will, and it can be the success story for us all. Again, I am honored and privileged to serve as your chief of police. Thank you for this opportunity, and I look forward to working with each and every one of you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Next, I would call up our chief, Chief Harrison. Come on up, Chief.
Thank you, Mayor. I first want to say a very heartfelt thank you to Mayor Cantrell for giving me the opportunity and the privilege of serving as her chief. I have had the most wonderful career, full of opportunities, full of wonderful experiences, full of adventures. I've met the greatest people and have served and worked with the greatest people in the world. It's truly been my honor and my pleasure to serve you. I am as humbled as I am grateful to have had your confidence in the most significant decision a mayor has to make. And for that, I'm eternally grateful. I'm equally proud and honored and grateful for the opportunity and the privilege to have led the men and women of the New Orleans Police Department for the last 4.5 years. I've served on this department since I was 21 years old. It's now over 27 years, and it has been a great, great career. And while many people think I've been given a new gift from the mayor of Baltimore, I've actually been given a gift by the men and women of the police department. The opportunity that I have is a gift that the department and the citizens have given me. Because without the members of the police department, there would be no other opportunities, because they go out and execute every single day. And I give all the credit to Commander Ferguson, soon to be Superintendent Ferguson, and all the men and women of the police department, for without them, there would be no me. I'm grateful to our citizens of New Orleans for their love and support for being their chief. They have been great. You are my family, and you will always be my family. And so now, I congratulate Commander Ferguson, as he will become our next superintendent. He has prepared himself, as you heard him say, for this assignment. I have invested in his professional development as a new chief, and he's already told you he went to the best leadership school in the country, which was quite expensive, but he was the absolute first person I thought should go. and pulling in philanthropic dollars, there were other people who thought the same, and so we're certainly proud of them. It's a 3-week executive development with 85 other classmates from around the country and the world who sat with him, with professors from all over the world, from Boston University, Harvard University, and others who taught him and prepared him for this moment. And he has invested in his own development and has always been willing to take on challenging assignments, and he has always done well. I support the mayor in her decision, and I have confidence that Superintendent Ferguson will continue to move the department forward in recruiting, hiring, training, crime fighting, consent decree reform, citizen satisfaction, technology, advancements, and so much more. I've known Shaun Ferguson for a long time. I've mentored him from the beginning of his career, and I will continue to mentor Superintendent Ferguson as he cultivates his executive leadership skills. But I will also need something from him, because as I embrace my next chapter as the Baltimore Police Commissioner, I will need Superintendent Ferguson and his team to share their strategies of success with now my new team. So I'm proud of him, proud of you. I'm proud of the New Orleans Police Department. I'm proud of you, Mayor.
Thank you, Chief. Proud of you, too.
And I am proud of my city, which will always be my home. God bless you all. Who dat?
Who dat? Thank you, Chief. Thank you, Chief. And I want to bring up our Director of Homeland Security and Public Safety, Colonel Terry Everett. Come on, Colonel.
Thank you, Mayor. I just have a couple of comments that I think are pertinent to this morning's celebration, not only for New Orleans, but for Baltimore. I want to commend Mayor Cantrell on the quick, decisive, thorough turnover and selection of a new police chief. It's my experience over 50 years of watching law enforcement agencies and security agencies and first responders and military that those organizations who put an interim in start descending on a spiral the day that the change is made. We don't have to face that. We've made a decision, and delayed action in leadership is never the way to go, because as we all know, this is a 24/7 operation, and to leave this department, who has come so far against many challenges, without current active leadership would be a mistake. To ensure the continued stability and progress of the NOPD and the City of New Orleans, and for the security of its citizens, it was imperative that this decision be made prompt and thorough and quickly. The men and women of this department and the citizens of New Orleans need to know there will be a very seamless transition between these two great officers. The incoming chief has our full support of all the Cantrell administration leadership.
Thank you.
And then on the personal side, I've been blessed to have walked through some very difficult times with the New Orleans Police Department. I've known Superintendent Harrison for over 2 decades, and it's my privilege to have walked at his side and watch him perform, and I know that Baltimore is a lucky city to be inheriting you as a leader, not only as a moral leader, but a strategic plans leader, and one who sets the pace and was tireless in accomplishing your mission. So I want to wish you the very, very best in travels, and you know that we're always here. And my next trip to Baltimore, I'll stop in. But again, it's been a pleasure to have walked alongside the giants of this department, who has faced challenges that no other police department has faced in the United States of America. And we're blessed to have that leadership, and we're blessed to have a mayor to make those decisions on how to move forward. Thank you very much.
I appreciate you. And to give Colonel, thank you, Colonel, to give Chief Harrison the perfect send-off that he deserves, and us loving on our people in our city. We're not throwing our people away. We're loving on them, and we will support him as he makes his transition. So on Friday, this Friday, we will have a final walk for our chief, and it will be along St. Charles Avenue right at Gallier Hall. And so more information will come, but this is a great day for the city of New Orleans, and I'm proud to be your mayor. Thank you.
At this time, we'll have a couple of questions. Sase?
Commander, how do you propose continuing some of the positive trends we've had in the reduction of the murder rate as you take the helm of this department?
Well, I'm not going to go into any specific strategies that I have in mind because this is a transition phase which I will be shadowing Superintendent Harrison throughout the week. I do have some plans in mind. However, I know he had some things in place he wanted to implement going into this new year. So I would like to see what it is that he has planned, assess it, and it may flow with what it is that I have in mind. But we are committed to decreasing violent crime, homicides as well as non-fatal shootings.
WDSU?
You touched on how there's been a major progress, but a lot of work still needs to be done.
Yes.
Specifically, what work would you like to see done? I know some people would like to see more homicide solved. What specific work would you like to see solved?
That is number one on my list. Homicide. That again, I won't go into any specifics of my plans or strategies just yet because again, I believe Superintendent Harrison has some things in place that he was planning to implement. Again, I want to assess those and see how it flows with what it is I have in mind. Additionally, another thing that I would like to see our department do is come into full circle with the consent decree. We need to complete that process. And once we complete that process, that foundation has been solidified and we can begin to build up from there.
Paul Murphy, WWL.
Commander, could you maybe give us some insight as to how that conversation went when the mayor called you and said, "You're my guy"? What were some of your thoughts? How'd that conversation go? I know usually the conversations between the mayor and the police chief are private, but give us some idea how that conversation went. What were some of your reactions?
I would like to say it is still private. But I can say it was enlightening. I relaxed.
I'll say, right? I called him up and I said, "Are you ready to be my chief? Next chief of NOPD." Phone went silent. I don't think he slept that night.
That week.
When were you offered the job?
Say Tuesday, I believe it was, or Wednesday. I'm lost since the phone call. You
we
probably
had
see the bags
conversation.
underneath my eyes, but we've had several conversations since then.
Conversations on Wednesday. I also met with others who had expressed an interest, not only in terms of a courtesy, but even some consideration. But having done that, I'm absolutely committed to the decision that I made. Right decision for New Orleans.
The Advocate?
Mayor Cantrell, you spoke often of seeking community input in your leadership. Why not convene a search committee or ask the public for its input on this struggle?
Well, first of all, I think I kind of touched on that on the beginning. I come from the ground, working with NOPD, New Orleans City Councilwoman, 6 years, had the longest transition as a mayor-elect, 7 months. And in that period, you're really breaking down every single department, but truly what priorities are. And public safety has always been a top priority for the citizens of New Orleans. I had over 7 listening sessions, very much prepared to make this decision. Did not need to do a search committee, did not need to do an interim. The leadership is within NOPD. I've identified it, and we will have a great next chief leading the New Orleans Police Department in Commander Ferguson.
Times 50 unit.
Mayor, can you expand on why Commander Ferguson is the best choice for the next chief?
Sure. One, neighborhood policing practices, understanding how to communicate effectively with residents, meeting people where they are. The ability to, one, I would say build even community as demonstrating community policing practices. Fair, known for being fair across the board, firm in his delivery, and understanding what accountability is all about, not just for residents, but it's personal accountability as well. that fair front, I believe in it strongly. Having had the real experience of working with the men and women of NOPD to turn us around as it relates to not only the consent decree, but making this city safer. Also, having I would say we're aligned on areas that we need to shore up. Looking at our homicide division, looking at crime and evidence lab, wanting to make sure that our men and women have the tools and resources that they need, being a strong advocate for our officers. And so I can go on and on and on, but be assured that I know that this is the best step and the next step that's right for New Orleans Police Department as well as the citizens of the city of New Orleans.
All right, only 2 more questions, Rob.
Chief, what was the biggest surprise for you when you took over this job, and have you offered the commander any words of encouragement to help him deal with whatever that was that you had to deal with?
Well, like future Superintendent Ferguson, he's prepared himself. And so he's been on the ground, he's been at mid-level management, he's been at command management, he's been at executive leadership, and I had that same career path. And so I don't think he's going to find that there are a lot of surprises. It's just a matter of learning the job, stepping into the role, and going out and executing. Of course, he had one area of responsibility. Now he has all areas of responsibility. And so, yes, I have had many conversations with the commander in preparing him for this moment, for this day, and for this moment. And I believe he's going to do well. With me, it was the same thing. In my preparation, and the reason why he was the first, because right before I became chief, I was selected by my predecessor to attend that same executive development school, which I believe propelled me and prepared me to step into the role. And then I've invested into all my deputy chiefs and all of my commanders. And that's why the mayor has such great options, because over the past 4.5 years, we've cultivated and groomed leadership to prepare many people for opportunities like this. And so this day has come, and I believe he's going to do a fine job. There's still more conversations we will have. There are many that we will have. I prepared him for the questions. I said, Rob Misson will ask. But we have full confidence that he's going to do a great job.
Final question. Mike.
Commander Ferguson, are there any plans or timetable for you to name your command staff, and should we expect many changes there?
Again, I would like to say that would take some assessment. It would take some assessing on my part. Of course, I'm from within the department, but now I'm looking at it from a different level. And as such, I can't necessarily give you a time frame. I have to do some serious consideration and assessing before I make any decisions whatsoever. So, but I can assure you we will make some changes at some point in time as technology, just as technology evolves and changes. At some point in time, our department will have to do the same. So it will happen, but I just cannot tell you when.
Thank you all.
Thank you. Thank you very much.